All I ever hear in this country is why is it that, we should vote for a communist or a socialist when all they want to do is steal money from me, and they want to steal money and give it to the poor who don't work hard enough. Even though, these people, while there are some that don't work, there's a lot of people that are in need of that extra boost of money. How is it that you can just sit there and not help them out? I hear, oh, the rich, they create all the jobs, so we shouldn't tax them as much. But you should. I mean, the way this country operated, 30, 40 years ago was that they were taxed more. They were taxed more, and everyone had a better quality of life. So why should that be changed? Why the fuck should that be changed? It's been changed, and it's been tried since the Reagan administration, when they lowered taxes. And eventually he realized that was impossible to do, and he had to raise taxes. George H.W. Bush, his successor, had to raise taxes because it wasn't working. It was voodoo economics is what he called it. So when it gets down to it, yeah. I mean, George W. Bush, he came into office and he did the same thing that Reagan did and lowered taxes. We had a surplus at the time, so it made sense. But all it did was cause $1 trillion deficit. More than that. Then I have people complaining about, Obama being like a fucking asshole, and he's the one that's raised the debt so much, even though statistically he's created more jobs than Bush ever did. I don't have a very high opinion of Obama. I think he could do a lot better in certain aspects. But, I mean, he did inherit a mess. Now, that's just a fact. Now, you could run around and say whatever the fuck you want. Oh, he didn't inherit a mess. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Stop blaming George W. Bush. Yeah, I can blame him. I can blame him completely. He is like one of the worst presidents that ever ran the country. It seems like everyone has some sort of, to quote Bernie, some sort of collective amnesia at just how bad this country was when he left office. Now, this whole change that Obama promised, it didn't happen. But, I mean, that was all propaganda. I mean, I would have rather taken him anyway. I would have taken him anyways, no matter what. Because the Republicans prove that they can't run a country. And I am blaming the Republicans because George W. Bush was a Republican. He was a neoconservative Republican, and it was a massive failure. Now, John McCain, for the most part, he didn't seem that bad. But that was it. After that, there's no reason to actually have a Republican leader. Today's Democratic Party is closer to the old moderate Republicans that were willing to work out deals with the Democrats of that time. Bernie Sanders is an old school Democrat. He's not really a socialist. He believed in, policies to strengthen the middle class, which is part of the reason why the economy was so good back in the 50s and 60s. They had, a lot more, wages went up along with worker productivity. And worker productivity has gone up, and it's at the highest it's ever been, yet wages have stagnated. I don't believe in the minimum wage going up as being a solution to that. The only thing I could see as working is some sort of tax on, median income, where if the rich are making a certain amount, then compared to the least paid person, then they should be taxed more, because they're just taking all the wealth for themselves and saying fuck you to the workers. That's not right. The worker does make all the money for the rich people. See, the trickle-down economics is the belief that the rich will create the jobs for the poor. But without the poor, or the working class, the rich can't make any money. So wouldn't you rather... I always thought that you should build from the ground up, not from the top down. It doesn't make any sense. You don't build a building that way. But, I don't know. Sort of like a video log for myself. Keep my sanity. Because all I ever see is just so much negativity when it comes to even discussing a different idea.